today we're going to do something a little different. Today we're going to do something that's not even covered in the manual, and that is the installation of the chrome grill slats. Now this is actually my second time doing it. I wasn't particularly happy with my first attempt. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to find a better way of doing this. Now, looking at this particular one, I see a couple of things I'd like to change. One, I'm going to take and cut these flush. It makes it look neat. Two, on the other end, I'm going to trim this a little bit here and here so that we can get it actually behind this area right here. Now, then, once I'm done with that, we're going to cut this opening out, and we're going to start to mount it. And I'm going to show you how I do that as I go along. Alright? So right now, let me first trim the grill, and then I'll show you what it looks like after I'm done trimming it. As you can see, with the little extra taken off, this thing actually fits a little better and looks a lot nicer all of a sudden. Okay? Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to determine how far back I want to make this cut. Okay? Now, we lift this up for a second. You can see our line comes almost to here. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to make a pencil mark across here, and that's where the end of the cut is going to be. The rest of it's going to be all in this inset here. We're going to cut that out with the grinding tools. We'll probably cut it from the back side, and I'll show you that here in a second. But first, let me make the line here with the pencil, and then we'll move on to the next step. Okay. Now you can see the marks that I've made. This is the actual area I'm going to cut out. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut to the inside always. Alright? So that we can trim it later to the very edge. Alright? Now, one of the things I did here was I treated it forward a little bit. That means this line, okay, is actually a little bit further forward than I expect it will be when they end. Now, the reason I do this is so that I can actually trim back to where I want it to be. Okay? So we're going to make a simple cut here. We're going to start fitting the grill into place after I've done this cut. And now all I have to do is cut the fiberglass. Fun thing to do on Monday morning. Okay, let me show you it done. Alright? Now one of the things I did was I went in here and I backgrounded like we do on the rear window of the car, so that we trimmed away that edge of gel coat right at the corner. Okay, you can see how I did this all the way around, especially in here. Now you'll notice that there's a nut here. I had to drill two holes, one here and one here, and I used a stainless steel countersunk screw through there with a 832 nut. Alright, I'm going to show you that on the other side what I did. I also used the same here, only I didn't use a countersunk screw on the other side. And we'll flip this over. I used a round-headed screw. Now the reason I used a round-headed screw is fairly simple. Okay? And I'm going to show you why. This is my countersunk bit. It doesn't fit between these two things. So what I do is I use a round-headed screw. Now, if I were building this for a customer, or rather for myself, what I would then do is I would take black paint and just paint these black between it to give an illusion that there was nothing there. Now on the front you can see where I did actually countersink the screws. It's not noticeable at all. Okay? And it's actually it looks very good when it's in place. I'll give you a better shot of it. As you can see from a long shot, you really won't see it. Now, of course, we could paint the screws the same color as the car. Okay? Right now they stand up because they're white, but that's really not much. Now, we have a little bit in here we got to trim. What I'm going to do is I'm going to mark the line again, take this off, and trim to there. And that way, it won't be visible. Okay? But this is essentially done. It's actually very easy to do. It took me about an hour plus, alright, to do this and to set this up. The hardest part I found, for me at least, was drilling the holes through the metal. And the reason is because I got crappy drill bits. Okay? I use my drills all day long and they get worn out fast. Alright? So anyway, that's the installation of the side panel. Now the side chrome. Now if you wanted to, you could actually fiberglass it into place. I wouldn't recommend it. This is actually an easier way to do it. It's much simpler, much faster, and it allows you to take them off later on. Now, if I could only make some changes to this and to make it so that we could do this automatically. Okay, here, a couple of hours later, we have the finished product actually installed back on the car. Now, as you can see, I've done both grills. They're both held in the same way with 4 screws. Okay. There we go. It actually looks quite good. Alright. Like I said, there are ways of hiding the screws. One of the things we can do to hide the screws is paint them the same color as the surrounding body. The other way is to paint between these slats in black so that the screw, which will also paint in black, will blend in. Alright? This will actually look quite different once the grill and the tiles are put into place. But this is it. We are done with this job.